Hello everyone, my name is Willie Reed, don't care what my name is, and this is my top 5 worst movies of 2015. Why top 5? Well, unlike many people, I like to keep my list short, and I also decided to focus on the movies that got so much build up, so much hype, that they ended up becoming a big disappointment. The same thing will be for my top 5 best movies of 2015, where they got so much build up, so much hype, but were a big success. But that will be on the 31st. But for now, this is my top 5 worst movies of 2015. So let's start off with number 5, Pixels. Alright, now I'm not gonna lie, when I heard about this story, I thought, doesn't sound like a bad idea. Aliens come down to invade our planet and they use our old video games, bringing them to life to be used as weapons. That's actually pretty good. However, when you add in the Adam Sandler formula, you kind of lose your audience a lot. I mean, this movie was just so predictable. I mean, you could actually write down all of the Adam Sandler cliches that you've seen in his past movies, and you can find them all in this movie, where he plays a loser character that no one will ever think will amount to anything. He gets with a hot girlfriend that you honestly cannot see Adam Sandler with, and there's just the ending's just so predictable as well. I mean, this movie really had an opportunity to be better than any of the other past Adam Sandler's movie. This was his chance to actually do that. But it feels like Adam Sandler has given up. He doesn't care anymore about trying to make any good comedy movie anymore. He just feels like he should just stick with what he's been good at for so many years and just thinks it'll keep people entertained. It really won't. But to be honest with you, it's not as bad as these other movies on this list, and it's also not as bad as Jack and Jill. Oh god, that was terrible. Number 4, Jupiter Ascending. This movie was made by the Wachowskis, who we know have made some pretty good movies like The Matrix, V for Vendetta. I think that's pretty much it. But then they've tried the other Matrix movies, as those weren't a success, and I think they've made some other ones that got some criticism as well. And this one, I actually thought could be good. It could be good movie. However, they pretty much ripped off a lot of other sci-fi movies, and they tried throwing them into this movie. It really, you could actually tell. I mean, the Nostalgia Critic actually pointed it out during his review, and how he pointed out that the Wachowskis pretty much ripped off many of the ideas from other movies into this one. I don't think that was their intention, but that's pretty much what it felt like. And the story for this, my god, the story for this was just terrible. It was so boring, and the characters were so emotionless. I actually thought the M Night Shyamalan movie, like The Happening, was bad, where the characters are so emotionless. This one, though, so emotionless. You don't really care much about them, and they're just so boring. Oh my god, it was so terrible. All right, moving on. Number 3, Terminator Genesis. This was a very big letdown for me because I'm a fan of the Terminator movies. Okay, I like the first one. The second one to me was always the best. And I said in one of my reviews about this movie that it's not as bad as the third or the Salvation movie, but it is bad. I mean, if you thought the trailer that they showed that pretty much told us the entire story was bad, try watching this movie and try figuring out what's going on, because I for the life of me cannot have still not figure out what's going on. Every time I try, my head hurts so much just thinking about it. I mean, these characters are not good at all. I mean, the one playing John Connor was not good. The one playing Cal Reese was a boring guy. Not even, don't really like him so much. And the one playing Sarah Connor, the same thing as well. You really can't see the chemistry between the two characters. There isn't any. But, and even Arnold. I mean, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a great guy, but I'm watching him and watching him looking so old. I'm like, what happened to you, Arnie? What really happened to you? It was a real letdown. The effects were crappy. The movie was just so confusing. I don't even think anybody knew what the hell was going on. So yeah, this was a disappointment, but it's not the worst. Trust me. The other two movies on this list, You will agree with me by the end of this when I say they're bad. Fantastic Four is number two. This one is the remake or at least a reboot that they were trying to make because 20th Century Fox didn't. Oh no, yeah, 20th Century Fox did not want to lose the rights for this movie. What I mean by that is years ago when Marvel was in bankruptcy, they sold the rights for some of their comics like the X-Men, Spider-Man to different companies like 20th Century Fox. It has both the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. But within the few years, they have to return the movies back if they don't use them. So that is why they didn't want to give up the Fantastic Four rights because they don't want to risk Marvel getting a lot of money from them. Because we know Marvel, with Disney's help, can make a great movie. So 20th Century Fox decided to try making this movie again with a reboot. However, because of their interferences and because of everything that was going on while making this movie, it was a big disappointment. It really was. I mean, the story was pretty stupid. The characters were not even that good, and I, for one, cannot understand why they cannot do a proper Doctor Doom. Really? They have all the source material. How hard is it to make a freaking Doctor Doom? Or for that matter, a freaking Fantastic Four movie? I don't know. 20th Century Fox has done a good job with the X-Men movies. Why can't they do the same thing with this one? With this Fantastic Four movie? If they knew they had a deadline for this movie, why not do it before? Why not come up with an idea for this long ago? They just put it on the shelf because they didn't have any more ideas for it, I guess. And yeah, again, this was a disappointment. But I think we all knew it was going to be disappointing. Like with the Terminator movie, we all knew it was going to be. We all had a feeling it was going to be bad. And even if when we went in this, we all knew it was not going to look good. But we still wanted to give it a chance. But it was still a disappointment. But they're not the worst of the worst. They're not number one. And this movie that I'm going to say is the worst and is number one. There's a reason for it. Before I do, I'm going to have a list of dishonorable mentions, pretty much movies that I did not put on this list, but are very, very bad. They were the worst also in 2015. So I'll give you a few seconds to see them. Oh, God. Okay. Here we go. The number one movie that was the worst of 2015, that was build up so much. A lot of people were looking forward to and thought with all the actors they threw into this, with all the money that was being put behind this, we all thought this was going to be a successful movie. But we were wrong. And that's the movie Pan. Yeah, I mean, trying to make a origin movie of Peter Pan shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, especially when you have so much money thrown into this movie, when you have so many great actors being thrown into this movie, how can you not make a very good Peter Pan movie? This was such a big letdown. Not only did a lot of people get disappointed with this movie, but a lot of them hated this movie because of how much of a letdown this was. The kid actor playing Peter Pan, he was not that good. The guy playing Captain Hook was very cartoony. I don't know what the hell he was trying to sound like. I heard so many people say that he was trying to sound like an American. That's not how Americans sound like. But apparently he thought that's how he should sound like, and the director didn't even try changing his voice. And of course, we have Hugh Jackman singing. I thought the guy who played James Bond in Die Another Day, his singing was terrible in Mamma Mia, but okay, well, I'm not gonna lie. Hugh Jackman singing was kind of enjoyable. It's kind of goofy. He was the elephant in the room. Actually, no, the gorilla in the room, sorry. But, yeah, it wasn't not that good at all. Oh, God, this was such a disappointment. The effects were very stupid. And just the story for this is just trying to make Peter Pan the chosen one. Like, what? No. Don't ever do that. Don't ever make a movie where you have a character that is the chosen one, okay? Because that's very predictable how it's going to go. Okay, well, That's pretty much it, guys. If you guys have a different opinion about the movies I mentioned or any from the list that I left up, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. And I'll be here next time for my 200th video, which will be for my top 5 best movies of this year. So take care, everybody. See y'all next time. We'll give you more love and more entertainment. And have a nice day.